Hey there, everybody. So, yeah, we finally got this thing done, and this is the Wheeler Crit Week 2, and this is the super sweet version of the racing action there, and got two Shimano cameras, and this is my point of view here, the forward facing, and then the rear facing there is Andy's. Basically it looks like I kind of just took off there, and then like Rob followed along, and then Andy and Chad kind of went after that. But yeah, it's basically what we did, we took the two Shimano cameras, and we took the footage and took the data from our Garmin's, and then had to change the video format to MP4 because the Shimano's use a MOV format or QuickTime format or whatever, and so had to transfer those over. Andy's pretty good at all that stuff, and he figured it out pretty quick, but it took me a little while to kind of get the gist of it. But anyway, I get caught. There's Andy and Chad blasting past there, so we're, it's this kind of from the little teaser. This race, it got animated pretty quick, pretty early, and we have our data there on both screens there, so it's kind of fun watching that. That first little move came together, and then Rob took off there, so we're going again. But we've got our power, speed, cadence, and a little map there in the other corner there that shows where we're actually at there on the course. So yeah, the wind was high and the speeds were pretty high, especially coming into that little that section, and it's pretty easy to keep it's a pretty wicked little crosswind there, but it was easy to keep our speeds up pretty high. Kind of when you get into this little corner, you start to stall out a little bit, and yeah, this part here was pretty hard. We're just a couple laps in, and I'm pretty winded, and just taking off earlier, and then I'm getting out at the elbow flick, so it's time to pull through again. So pretty well, I think I just kind of semi stalled out right here. But yeah, once I initially uploaded my video to the got it to go in the Garmin Verb edit software. It was really, I don't know, I was really pretty mesmerized and interested in all the little metrics, and really, I always look at the races afterwards and stuff, and look at the the power files and such. But we really punched it. Personally, there was quite a few times that I peaked over 500 watts over and over, which is pretty substantial. If you and you guys that ride with power, then you watch Andy's numbers here, and Andy can definitely put out some watts, that's for sure. So he's pretty good little crosswind here, and he's still hauling pretty good there. But yeah, it looks like it's definitely split up, strung out pretty good right here. It was kind of one thing, like I had said in the other video, that I was a little bit worried, that that far north corner, with that crazy south wind, where it might be difficult to negotiate that corner, with all the way the people were parking there on that far north side. But ended up not being really much of a big deal at all. It was pretty actually pretty easy. The first few times I hit that corner fast, it was a little, it's kind of hard to really see the whole corner and see where you're kind of your line and how you were going to end up at coming out of it. But after we took it a few times, I mean, we're normally right here, it looks like we're going into a 20, 27, 28, but there's a few times when we're well over 30 hitting that corner there. So yeah, it's overall it was definitely a hard day. It was, I don't know, just looking at my overall power in the end and normalized power and such, it wasn't super high, nothing higher than what I've done here in a while, but this is really just kind of the first time I've got to see the power laid out in real time with the actual video feed, and it's definitely was all over the place. And this section right here in the tailwind, a lot of people kind of think of a tailwind as that's going to be the easy part to go, but honestly you're kind of in a vacuum there, so you're not really drafting anybody. You can see getting over 300 watts, holding it there for a while, so that's for me that's getting over my threshold, and anything over 280, 290 is putting me in the if I get up over it for a long period of time, it's or just little matches here and there, it's definitely for me it will definitely be taking its toll at some point. So this kind of the early 30 minutes probably of the race or so was there was one move where I think Jacob Paul and I think Eric Wild got away for a little while. I think they may be up the road right here. I'm not sure exactly. Kind of chopped this up and tried to put some of the most interesting aspects of it there in it. But yeah, this this little part here, it was always hard. It's easy to seem like this is the part that would really wear you out the most, and then we're coasting a little bit here, but you had to kind of be in a pretty good position coming through this next corner. Your momentum would carry you there for quite a bit of the ways, but then once you kind of got through the crosswind section, if you weren't on a wheel, or it's kind of the sweet spot was maybe 5 or 7 riders back or so, it was definitely a lot easier. You could actually recover. You can see a lot of times your momentum would carry you right up, and you'll see a lot of zeros kind of in this section here, low wattage and stuff, where that's kind of where you could recover. And then you better hope that by the time you make this corner, your heart rate's down, which that would have been, I haven't had a heart rate strap in quite a while, so I didn't really, I don't know if Andy uses one or not, but that was just, that would have been kind of an interesting metric to see, because there was definitely plenty of times when I was redlined here. Looks like Chad kind of had his pain face on there just a little bit. But yeah, all in all, it was definitely pretty fast, and it was fun though. It's, you can really see just both cameras just going by the side. It's pretty serious crosswind there, so looked like everybody was not standing right up on the road, but enough room where there would nobody. I don't think anybody got any close calls or anything like that going up into that part there. But yeah, it was, Evan looked like he was hurting pretty good, so yeah, I think Carter may have just attacked there, and he was riding really strong. Carter was attacking a lot. Rob was, and I think even Micah attacked a few times and put his nose out in the wind a few times there. So everybody was really really getting after it and such. Looks like we're catching a guy there down. I don't know why I'm on the front for this long, but it's really, I've kind of said this numerous times. Everybody's kind of got their, everybody's at different levels. And some guys have been doing the 1, 2, 3 races for a long time. And other guys maybe just kind of jumping in, taking their first crack at it. So, everybody's gonna kind of take it, as it is for different reasons. Some may be a little more conservative, just trying to survive the race and sit in, and other guys like to, it's somewhat like a race, but they want to, test themselves a little bit and see how many matches you've got, and just see your abilities to, put yourself in a difficult position. Just kind of test yourself, test your limits or whatever, and see if you can go really hard for a bit and recover from it and get back in the mix. And how sometimes it's hard to just go out there and train and do this, but it's somewhat of a racing situation where I don't know, it can be harder at times. I remember this part right here, that the guy I was right behind, he got to the front, was on the front, and kind of started slowing down in the tailwind section. I was yelling at him, he needs to pedal, because I knew somebody would jump us, and sure enough, there was Andy came ripping through there. So he kind of started getting on it, and it's once you get into the actual headwind part, you can see he kind of starts to stall out, and Andy's getting away a little bit, but I think Andy was, I don't know, he said that he kind of rethought that little attack right there once he got into the wind, and so he started coming back, and with this little part right there, it definitely being in the wind, hitting it pretty hard like that hurt me pretty good for, and I don't know, there was a lot of little punchy parts like that and early on, it feels like you're able to do pretty well, but then eventually you start, it's like being in a boxing match, you're taking these little jabs and stuff, and it doesn't feel like it's affecting you much, but then, at some point you kind of start finding yourself on the ropes, but, that's good stuff to know, and good to find out kind of the hard way how many matches you got in your match book, and, when you're in a really aggressive race situation, how long it takes to get to the bottom of that match book and stuff. And but it's it's nice to look back on power files and things like this and see kind of where you finally cracked or whatever, and see kind of what you were doing before, and it makes it easy to figure out what to to work on, what to try to improve upon and such. So I don't know, that's just kind of how I sort of always look at it, and try to roll through it or whatever. But it's I don't know, I can't remember exactly what was going on here. We're just, looks like there was a timer on mine that we started, so this is about 20 minutes in, almost 20 minutes into the deal, and this looks like one of those rare times when we're kind of the groups all together, and spread out. So normally when it's we going, I think I don't know, either Carter or Rob attacked right here, so it's kind of getting single file again, stringing out a little bit, and so that means generally that it's the going's getting pretty hard, it's getting fast again and everything. So I think it was, and you can see a couple guys just around in that corner that were up just a little bit ahead. Just railing this corner. Jacob kind of had a unique line there, which it seemed like it was pretty effective. He seemed like he could, I don't know, I still need to work on that corner personally, because I don't know, I didn't seem like could go into it pretty good, but not come out of it with a lot, enough momentum, it felt like, or something. So I don't know, I'll work on that in the next few races and such. But it's kind of, you got to kind of find your spot in the wind there, and this was kind of a good place to attack here just before you got to the corner. Take it here on the inside, and I think right here I decided it would be a good idea. I had some momentum, so I decided it would be a good idea to do a second attack. I think kind of in my mind I had this idea that I wanted to attack 3 to 5 times for the duration of this race, and that was kind of a half-assed one there, but I got, I guess, 2 in for the day. But you know, this one pretty much just about killed me here, or definitely tenderized me to where I finally cracked at the end. I think Carter, you know, was kind of right there with me, and Andy's just slightly behind him. So these guys are ripping through there. It's like Rob was up there as well, so they're, I don't know, I think they were easing up maybe, or I don't know, we may have already been caught, but yeah, it's like Paul's making some adjustments there. Like he likes to follow Andy, which that's, you know, I don't blame him. That's the Andy's definitely the best wheel around to follow, because he's usually going to be in the, you know, normally in the winning moves, at least, you know, here lately for sure. And, you know, he's, you know, just a good all-around wheel to follow, you know, if you want to be in the mix later on. But it looked like we were still going. Those dudes were, I'm here behind Carter, and, you know, he'd come around me, and I'm like, I'm hanging on for mercy really at this point, you know, get the elbow flick, and you know, oh my God. And then it really got painful here, so I'm coming around. You can see I'm starting to stall out, you know, just dropping 20, 19 miles an hour, 18. And then Chad comes around, so, you know, I try to go with him. And, you know, again, you're not getting really much draft right here, so, you know, putting out some more heavy-duty watts for, you know, I'm sure my heart rate's going pretty good right here if that was up on the screen. But you know, anyway, we come around here, and I'm, you know, hanging by a thread, and right there lost a little momentum in the corner. I think I actually went a little wide on, yeah, I went off the road just for a second, got a little gap opened up, and just couldn't quite bridge it. Put in a bunch, you know, punched it right there for a second, and then this is just me popping right here. And so, you know, I'm kind of thinking, well, I'm popping, I'll just let, you know, ease up and let Chad get a little, you know, let him get up there, and, you know, maybe we can get on, jump on with a couple guys and bridge up to him. But, you know, a bunch of dudes came around me, and they ended up, you know, eventually just bridging up, you know, the whole, you know, kind of what was left of the field. It's definitely getting thinner. Looks like it's probably down to about maybe, I don't know, 10 guys at this point or so. So it's, you know, gradually, I was, you know, sort of, it seemed like last year, you know, kind of on these same type conditions and same intensities and stuff, we would normally whittle it down to, you know, maybe 5 or 6 guys by this point. But there's still, you know, quite a few guys, and, you know, hanging strong. Looks like Chad just came back there. Like he put a big effort in, which, you know, it's what it's all about, you know. He definitely put in some hard pulls and chased, you know, attacked and chased stuff down and everything. So, yeah, I think Jacob was at the front, you know, kind of leading. Yeah, there goes Jacob coming back there. So, yeah, I think, you know, at this point I was pretty well hanging on for mercy. And then I think at some point here Rob attacks. Yeah, because I got back, you know, in with that group here, so I'm back connected, you know, and just kind of hanging by a thread. And I think this is it right here. Rob, no, that may be the next lap or so. But I don't know. I think Andy may be on the front here, like inflicting some pain on everybody, or going to the front. That's what it looks like. He just kind of might have pulled a semi-attack. You know, here I basically caught up to the group here, and yeah, we're coming along. And then I think it's right as we go into the tailwind section there, around that the far south corner, that's when Rob attacks, and pretty much the field gets just whittled down a little bit more from that point. So yeah, that's you got to recover quick from those efforts. That's really what it's all about, So looks like Rob's hurting a little bit there, but not hurting so bad that he can't throw in an attack. And boom, pretty well punches it there. So everybody's got to respond, and see me punching it. Got it up over 800, 700 watts, and then it's just like, not much. There's, it's like punching, and the motor's starting to misfire at this point. So, yeah, I think I, got gapped here. Looked like Carter got, he was actually attacked first. I think had just came back, and then, I got dropped, jumped on Evan, tried to stay with him for just a little bit because he had gotten caught back behind me, so I don't know if he realized I was blowing up or, I don't know. I'm not sure what his state was at this point, but, yeah, these guys, he went, and then, I don't know, there was maybe 3 or 4 guys behind me, so they all come around, and, yeah, that was pretty much it for me. Just from this point on, I basically got caught, by, caught up with Terry Storch, and then Micah caught me, and then we caught Carter, and then Leo Hansen was with us, and so we all of us rotated, and we kind of just, wanted to see if we could keep on the lead lap. So basically we rotated there for, 10 or 15 minutes, and we never got lapped. So I don't know, it was definitely easier. We're going maybe slightly slower, not too much. We're running 1 minute laps, so to not get lapped, we're running about the same speed, but it's definitely a lot easier when you're more in a steady state type rotation than when just herky jerky attacking, and then coming around this corner every time, and seemed like the lead guy would always just put it in the gutter. So it's pretty difficult for a little bit, but it's like Carter's, he managed to bridge up right there, but he just looks like Andy's dropping some heavy duty watts right here. Yeah, over 1,000 watts, and yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote for Carter. That's when he came back to us. And then there's these couple guys here, Gordon, and then I'm not sure who that Charlie's guy is, but it looks like they bridge back up and stay up in there for the little while. Looks like this group kind of came together, and then they slowed down a little bit. So sometimes you get the hard, it's going hard. If you can just put in that one last little effort, a lot of times it'll slow up, and you can kind of regroup and recover and get back in the mix. But so basically at this point it looks like it's down to maybe 6 guys looking around, recovering, seeing who's left, and such. And so then like Andy's putting in an attack here, and kind of rides Gordon off his wheel, and it's basically, this is kind of where final selection comes down to 4 guys. So we got guys that survive this are Andy, Rob, Paul, and Jacob. And so basically those guys from this point, they roll around for 10 or 15 minutes, kind of cat and mouse each other basically. And then I don't know, I pretty much just took it right to the I had to cut out a lot of stuff. There was lots of good racing action all through the stuff, but it's you can only put so much in here. But anyway, this is just kind of fast forward to the last lap, and this is kind of the move right here. They're going into that, basically that second to last corner before the tailwind straight, and right there Jacob punched it inside, attacked, and you can't really see those guys, but eventually Jacob ends up, that started his sprint from there. Basically he won, Paul gets second, and then Andy, him and Rob are drag racing here, and Andy comes around him. Andy gets third, and Rob gets fourth. So yeah, pretty fun race. I'm sure you're tired of hearing me flapping my gums and such, but hope you enjoyed it. You know, I think the metrics and everything there kind of made it fun, and thanks to Andy for getting his footage and bailing me out with his, you know, we spliced a lot of the video, or pretty much all the video, together on his computer, and then I trimmed it up here a little bit, and this is the result. So, yeah, thanks for watching. See you next week.